Hello everyone, how you doing? Today we have a review of Sense's Midnight. This is a spin-off, kind of sequel-ish to Sense, a cyberpunk story. A janky but charming horror adventure. Although I was possibly the only person on Earth who was excited about this next entry, but did it live up to expectations? Let's take a look. Before we get into it, if you like retrospectives on your favorite classic games, check out my other channel, A Bit More Jordan, for a lot more me. If you want to hear someone talk about Skies of Arcadia for like, 3 hours, that channel is the place to go. Especially if you enjoy them dabbled with humor too, and not stuffy with a cold like I am right now. Apologies for that. So while this retains the same kind of adventure-style gameplay, you'll be well aware that this has traversed the dimensions. It's not 2D anymore, it's now a fully 3D adventure game. I'd compare it more to like a Fatal Frame type of game, a series known for its tight budget. Well, Sense's is tighter than my skinny jeans at university. This is just as janky as the original, and I mildly love it for that. Sadly, I don't think it's quite as charming as the original, but it does have a couple of things going for it, one of which is not the story, which is something I liked in the first game. It wasn't well written, but at least it was an interesting concept. Sense's Midnight sees a TikTok girl exploring a haunted park to check out the mythical Midnight Door, which is the no-budget version of the Midnight Channel. We all know that the best setting for a horror game is when you're on your own or with only like one friend with you. However, Sense's Midnight throws that out of the window by having an unbearable friend group chat at the side of the game, filled with unbearable faceless friends writing unbearable things. My, how popular she is, how awesome her friends are. What could have been a chat with just one close friend is filled with pointless messages from pointless people. And you'll be wishing the ghostly happenings around here would affect the phone signal. Shut 'em up. But sadly, that doesn't happen. They're all there to offer their quips and musings on what our scantily clad heroine should do. This park is haunted, if you haven't gathered that, and while there are plenty of mindless ghosts potting around like the retirees coming to feed the ducks, there is one main ghost far more terrifying in a gaming sense. She'll pop her head out once in a while, literally. She's designed rather nicely, I'll give her that. And she will chase you, and she'll probably catch you, at least she caught me the first 3 times of trying. Thankfully, once you realize she's a bit daft with her lunge, you can probably get away from her as long as you get to cover as fast as possible, which is indicated by these luminescent butterflies. This brings out a minigame of such where you have to hold your breath by hovering the icon over the moving gauge. If you do this, she will bugger off. Sadly, the normal ghosts don't seem to bugger off. I don't know if it's supposed to be that way or it's an oversight, but I'm pretty sure it did say they will go away, but they don't. You just end up kind of trapped at times while they stand there waiting for you to come back out. I'll be honest, this aspect is not the game's greatest strength, and overall this review has been quite negative so far, but it does have its merits, a couple of them. So what I do like about Sense's Midnight is that it's a puzzle playground. It's a literal playground that has dozens of items laying around, and you have to figure out where to use them within this space. You'll find a wrench, an umbrella, a doll, everything is interconnected and not entirely spelled out to you. It leaves the solution mostly to your own vices. Yeah, it does spell things out from time to time, like where it randomly tells you should probably buy some booze from the vending machine, because that could be more useful than cola. I don't know, thanks for that. Although considering the dialogue those morons are spewing out in the chat, I'd have opted for booze anyways, gotta numb the pain. I actually enjoyed this aspect quite a lot. It felt like a grand Resident Evil puzzle that gradually and slowly comes together. You're not sure what the big picture is at the start, but as you solve more and more puzzles, use more and more of the items successfully, it starts to click, and I really do like it. It made the game bearable. Aside from the puzzles, there's also a camera mechanic tacked on where you can take pictures of clues or of ghosts. So that's kind of like where the Fatal Frame aspect comes in, and they have hand-drawn pictures of the photos that you take, which is cool. It looks nice. As you've probably seen, the game plays in an old school style. It has fixed camera angles which don't always make sense as to their placement, and they do move around a little bit at times, so it's pseudo fixed cameras. and naturally to accommodate such a style, the game is defaulted to tank controls, which I will state isn't as bad as a control style as the modern narrative suggests. I think it's a fine way to control a game, given the circumstances, but maybe you need your head screwed on like a different way to get used to it, like inverted camera controls, stuff like that. I think it controls fine. If only she wasn't so damn slow when you've got a murderous phantom chasing you. I get it, lady, you can't exercise too much, otherwise you'd lose the only personality you've got, your thickness. But at least when you're about to get murdered, you know, a mini sprint would be nice. If you're not a fan of this style, you can change the controls to be analog. That's if you can get through the menus that still have the PC release on their minds. But to be honest, I don't think it's any better. It makes less sense when playing. Now on the eShop, this is available for $15 in the US for about 4 hours worth of Yankee gameplay. That seems to be about par for the course, especially if there are mammoth melons involved. That's a huge amount of budget to sculpt those, okay? It's also available physically, but only on PlayAsia. It's a PlayAsia exclusive distributed by them. It's available in standard edition as well as a limited collector's edition, which includes a soundtrack CD. That's being sent out in August, last time I checked with the publisher. I'm pretty sure Booba fans have already pre-ordered this, but if you haven't, check the links in the description. It's where you'll find it, and you can also support us at the same time, plus we can support you as well. If you click our link, you can also get a tasty 5% off with our current discount code SWTV23. Just like myself, it's probably not going to be around forever, so if you're watching this in the future, be sure to make sure you're subscribed and check out the latest Let's Get Physical video every Monday for the latest code updates. We got discounts all over the place. Is it worth it? It's a tough one. You know, there's about 4 hours worth of game here. The production value is primetime PS2, which I can always get behind, and it has the jankiness to back it up. It was probably made by like 3 people, so it's fairly impressive, and I do like the visual style. I like the imagination of the park in an eastern cyberpunk city. It's a good design. The audio, what little of it there is, also good too. There's an especially good vocal track in here, and I look forward to getting this on CD with my collector's edition. Overall, I mean, it was a fool's errand for even reviewing this. You already know if this game is for you or not. Nothing I say or what anyone will say is gonna change your mind. Even your nan begging at your feet wouldn't make you think twice. You either want the spooky booba or you want to play a good game. Personally, I'm weird, so even if this is Jank City, I mildly enjoyed my time with it. I'm a sucker for PS2 style games, but you know, I'm not mental to give this a 10 out of 10. That it so obviously deserves. The story and characters are almost unbearable, the ghostly specters aren't great, but the puzzle elements made me enjoy my time with it as I figured out what went where. You can also unlock a bikini outfit, I believe, so yeah, about that 10 out of 10. Okay, it's more like a 5.5 out of 10. Just ever so slightly above average. But I enjoyed it, even though I think most probably won't. Alright, many thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like and subscribe. If you want to purchase this yourself, check the links in the description, but also check out my other channel, A Bit More Jordan, for a lot more me. I go through classic games, giving them long retrospectives to tell you why they're awesome. Censored Midnight is highly unlikely to appear on there. And if you watched all the way through this video, thank you ever so much. Please leave me a peach or cherry emoji in the comments because of, well, you know what. Or maybe a ghost emoji if you've got some dignity. Yeah.